Hey, what is going on, everyone? Well, I'm so glad you have took your time to spend with me right here today. I'm your co-host for the MRB Wrestling Review Show, Mike McRock Wilson, and we just saw NXT from the Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida. The show kicked off last night with Big E Langston going one-on-one with Aiden English. And pretty much, the match was over before it started because within, minutes of the match, Biggie Langston, big ending, 1, 2, 3. Biggie Langston gets the victory. But you know what I kind of liked out of that match was that Aiden English took the most out of those very few minutes of that not so much wrestling match. It was just basically one big move and that was it from Big E. But I like that, Aiden English took most of that time, just to show even just a little bit of his personality, just to let it out there. And then have Big E just drop him. 1, 2, 3. Enough said. And so it looked, and with all that said, eventually Big E Langston will get his rematch for the NXT Championship. That remains to be seen. Because I will get to this later on, but the way the NXT Championship direction where it's going right now, I don't see Big E Langston getting that rematch. And I'll explain that later on this review. Also last night, Emma went one-on-one with Hoxana in a first round quarterfinal match to determine the very first ever NXT Women's Champion. Great match. I like the tiny things, that takes place not just in the match but before the match, with the backstage segment with Renee Young, with the bubbles, and then coming out, you see the bubbles, and she's popping them, as well as doing her Emma dance. And sometimes, you know what? The little stupidest things go over within the NXT or WWE environment, right? Such as the Emma dance. And even stuff outside of wrestling, like that, right? That stuff just goes over. So I like that they're using this now, and the NXT, the fans are behind it. She does go over in the NXT crowd. I don't know if she were to go to WWE that she would get that same response, but I like that. This is going over well for Emma, as well as getting the victory over Hoxana. But I'm also a little question mark to see how far she's going to go in this tournament, because her next opponent in the semifinal match is Summer Rae. So I don't know if this is going to be, Emma's match going forward. But at least that NXT is planning on, baby steps. If they're going to have Paige be the very first NXT Women's Champ, perfect. Absolutely love it. I don't mind that. It's just that, you have to plan ahead to see, okay, who's going to be the next, contender for that championship, to see who might go over with the audience. And Summer Rae and Emma are those two divas right now in NXT. So I like that they're kind of using this tournament as to think, okay, who do we have up and coming to face, for example, Paige, the very first champion. Now I'm going on a limb, on that, prediction, but I think it's the right prediction to go on. But at least, okay, they're taking the baby steps to see, okay, who will be the next contender and who will gain momentum going into this tournament. But I think this is how, this is the only match for Emma, to really go over. And I don't think losing to Summer Rae in the semifinals was what actually hurt her because of that. Emma dance and the stupid things going over and trying to go in the ring and stuff like that. Those little things, the fans love those kind of things. The fans like different things, so I like that they're gonna play on that as well. Also last night, Leo Kruger went one-on-one with Dante Dash. Hey, you know what? That just felt like a filler match. So, with that said, Leo Kruger still in the corner long after his match. When Bo Dallas comes in the ring, went one-on-one with Mickey Keegan. And this is a bigger guy than Bo Dallas. So, it's not like, okay, this is a one-sided match. It's more like, can Bo Dallas top this guy, right? So, the little things that I liked, that Kruger was still around, at ringside, in the corner at the barricade. And then shortly after Bo Dallas gets the victory over Mickey Keegan, Leo Kruger comes in and goes in for his goes in and does his thing, takes out Mickey Keegan. The stare down you see with Bo Dallas and Leo Kruger, foreshadowing that one-on-one NXT Championship match. And that's the reason why I don't think Big E Langston will get his rematch. So I think that first match on NXT was not really needed. They could have just written him out and then just leave him on Raw and not have him on NXT. Simple as that, right? Makes sense. There was really no need for Big E Langston to be on that show last night because of that loss. To write him off and, to form this thing with Dolph Ziggler and AJ Lee. So, weird twisted logic on NXT. And with all that said, another twisted logic is about to take place. Cassius Ohno and Corey Graves face Scott Dawson and Garrett Dillon. The winners become the number one contenders for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Even though Cassius Ohno and Corey Graves winning the match is fine with me. I don't mind that because they have unfinished business with the Wyatt family. It's just that they had to use Scott Dawson and Garrett Dillon to earn that spot. I think that was a wrong call on NXT because right now Garrett Dillon and Scott Dawson, if they were to be put in that situation in a number one contenders match, they would have to win because, they just recently debuted a couple of weeks ago, gaining a couple of wins. They look good, they got momentum, and then they just lost it. I mean, what happened there, NXT? Did you really think that through? I don't think you did. But, with all that said, though, I can understand, the unfinished business, with Cassius Ohno and Corey Graves, with the Wyatt family, as well as Aiden English coming out and evening the odds. So there's going to be some sort of 3-on-3, maybe 1-on-1, Bray Wyatt versus Bray Wyatt versus Adrian Neville in the Tag Team Championship match that's going to take place. And I think that we're going to have new champs and write off the Wyatt family so they can debut on Raw SmackDown. Makes sense, right? Hopefully that will kind of register within the NXT writing department. So, because it is the logical thing to do, right? Have him lose the titles, have the Wyatt family lose the tag team titles, write them off, and make their debut on Raw SmackDown. And the same sort of applies with Big E, even though he already debuted months before. I think that, it wasn't really necessary for Big E to go in on NXT and, just have that one-sided match. There was really no need to just let him go with the loss and write him off. Simple as that. So I thought NXT last night, thumbs down. And that was my review for NXT. Did I ever chop that one up? Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. get plenty of rest, and always do your best.